Hi guys, welcome back. For today's video, we're going to cover general information just to give you general information. So if you were to come into a large amount of money, you would be versed in and knowledgeable on how to strategically invest your money. We're going to bring you a little bit of generic information on both just general investing, different angles you can invest, along with some trusts and foundations and so forth. I would like to introduce you to Todd. He's a skilled financial advisor. Todd, can you please tell us about yourself?
Absolutely. It's nice to be with you here today. My name is Todd. I'm actually from the Northeast Ohio area. I've been in financial services and planning for about 20 years now. My background areas of practice include legal education, financial education, and tax planning. I am not a CPA, an attorney by any means. I'm not a licensed CPA or a practiced attorney, but I have extensive background training in these areas. And the primary focus that I do in my practice is educate people before they become clients. So I spend the majority of my time educating on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid planning, how to protect assets from Medicaid spend down, legal planning, including trust and foundation planning, as well as tax strategies going into and throughout retirement. So we offer, comprehensive based knowledge.
Excellent. So you sound highly qualified and skilled for this general education we're going to share with everyone. Thank you for joining us too.
I hope to be.
All right. So a lot a lot is going on these days. The S&P is down nearly 20%, inflation is up over 8%, and the highest it's been in 40 years. The dollar index is at levels we haven't seen in 20 years, etc. Should people consider making adjustments to their estate plan, and if so, what are some of the things you may want to consider and the potential returns of these ideas?
Well, when it comes to the market and how people are reacting to the market today, it's unprecedented where we are within the last 12 months. People have been used to for over 10, 12 years throwing darts at a board and be able to hit any investment and make money. And that has changed significantly. As you referenced, the S&P down by such a big a number, people get scared, they get concerned. And should they be making adjustments? Absolutely. But making rash decisions is the worst thing that you can do. Consulting a qualified estate planner, a qualified investment advisor is the number one priority that you should have, and that should be built into either a monthly, quarterly, or annual review, having active management and active planning strategies in place that can react uh, in advance or in accordance with the ways that things are going so that you can be prepared for major downturns in the market. People are looking at a number of different investment strategies outside of the traditional 401k or IRA. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds are mainly the traditional things that people look at, but going into principal protected assets for investment, looking at real estate, considering insurance-based products, can all lead to multiple different advantages that can yield returns in the ballpark of 4 to 8 or 9% in a given year based on historical values. And then when you look at the different strategies you consider, you may be able to get into some sort of tax-free or tax-deferred opportunities that can allow you an even greater tax savings later in retirement.
Thank you. Are there ways people can benefit from potential market gains but not lose their hard-earned money before the market turns around? What kinds of performance have these products seen over the years?
Well, we're in a unique situation right now where a lot of people are jumping out of their traditional investments and into multi-year guarantee annuities because they are offering such high rates of return. And right now, they're starting to peak in the high 5% range. The alternative to a multi-year guarantee annuity would be some sort of an index annuity, something that offers principal protection from market losses while still being able to participate in a large percentage of the market return or gain. The alternative that people are looking at is a type of life insurance that allows the same opportunity for no risk to your principal, but participating in the market gains with a very, very low insurance cost. Traditionally, people look at insurance as an expensive option for retirement planning because they're typically looking at the wrong type of an insurance. And when you can get into index-based insurance planning, there are a lot more opportunities that can yield results with with higher level caps in the 10 to 12% return range, which is much more advantageous for someone looking to protect themselves, take advantage of tax opportunities and guarantees in the market.
Excellent. Thank you. So are there two major types of investment options? Obviously, different when I say two major, would that be the security side and the insurance side? If so, can you tell us just a little bit about both? Which one, in better economic conditions, which one you'd recommend in better economic conditions, maybe what a generic type of return might be on that, and then in more versed economic times or difficult economic times, what might be a better route to go and what type of return we could get during difficult economic times.
Absolutely. The key factor to consider is the long-term planning strategy involved and age. For a younger age demographic, traditionally people are going to be more interested in the stock bond mutual fund return or the traditional brokerage account associated with their 401k or IRA investments. As the insurance industry adjusts to the way that planning is done, they've added a lot of great opportunities for younger people, such as index universal life, different types of income annuities to create a long-term or a lifetime pension, and the fact that you could protect yourself from investment risk at a young age and consider those tax-free or tax-advantaged opportunities. As we age, the majority of people getting into the pre-retirement or retirement phase of their life, most people are looking to step back from that risk that is offered with the traditional stock bond mutual fund or brokerage account and get into more principal protected investments, or at least phase back or step back some of that risk. So really, when it comes to what type of risk people are interested in, it should be really considered by their age, their income, their desired income level, what type of tax rate they are at, and what their long-term planning strategy considers. So for my recommendation or my belief, I think somebody should be exposed to all different types of investment strategies throughout the market, throughout their age. It should just be adjusted as they age and as their income requirements change going into and throughout retirement.
There are some concerns about the potential increases in federal taxes. What are some options people have to minimize their taxes?
Well, starting planning as early as possible is the number one way that you can minimize taxes into and throughout retirement. When you are in your younger years, utilizing the Roth IRA, utilizing life insurance as a protected way of investing and yielding a tax-free retirement are going to be the most advantageous and beneficial. As we continue aging, taking advantage of tax rates. Right now, we historically have the lowest tax rates from the federal and state standpoint that we've had in years, decades. And people are so averse to paying taxes because we've been taught this myth all our lives that deferring those taxes until retirement is the best way to go because you're going to have a lower tax level in retirement. We've got over $30 trillion in debt these days, and there's really only one way for tax rates to go, and that is up. So as people have been deferring these investments in 401ks and IRAs, what they're looking at is drawing those down through retirement by the way of required minimum distributions at the age of 72, or potentially withdrawals out of those accounts to supplement income or purchasing. When they do that, they're increasing their tax rate by going into a higher tax bracket. And instead of doing that where the government is in control of those taxes, doing those steps to minimize those taxes by paying them down earlier is going to be a much stronger benefit for someone going into retirement, because now they can take advantage of some of these tax-free or trust planning to hold those assets and then prevent some of those taxes or many or most of those taxes from being paid because you did it early on.
Thank you. I've heard about leveraged insurance. Are you familiar with that, and can you explain what that means?
Leveraged insurance is one of the most powerful tools that people can use, but it requires a good amount of understanding because we've experienced insurance products that have really led people the wrong direction, either by the way of a misguidance from an agent who is a little bit undereducated, or sincerely an agent who is looking to basically make a commission. The education on insurance is priority number one. Learning about how the insurance products work, what they will do for you, it can really lead you down a path of a potential tax-free retirement with long-term care benefits attached, a leveraged death benefit and retirement account for yourself, your spouse, and your loved ones, and the ability to create a generational plan with the utilization of long-term insurance planning for either a tax-free distribution or tax-free death benefit at their passing. So, life insurance can be an outstanding planning tool if it is done properly and understood not only by the investment advisor or insurance agent, but most of all, the client looking to do the planning.
Thank you. We've previously talked about trusts and foundations. Do you have experience in this area? And if so, what are your thoughts on the pros and cons of these instruments? Again, you can be just more brief on it. You don't have to be very detailed. And if you just give us a quick understanding of maybe the differences between trust versus foundations. If someone's single versus has a family, does one benefit the other? And if someone's going to possibly start up some businesses, does one cater to businesses more than the other?
Really, it's all going to depend on the individual couple or family circumstances as to whether a trust or a foundation is going to be more appropriate. What I can attest to is that trust planning can be very extensive and very in-depth. It can start with just a simple revocable or family or living trust. It can go into the grouping of irrevocable trusts for asset protection and asset preservation. And then if that's not enough, you can add beneficiary trusts, generational planning trusts, special needs trust, heritage trust. There's a number of different types of sub-trusts that can be added to a general trust plan with a competent and well-established and educated attorney leading that path. Going into foundational planning is really going to be dependent on the needs of the estate plan, the needs of the family. Getting into a generational foundation plan where you have significant assets, businesses, real estate structures, things like that are going into a plan may necessitate the use of a foundation for the long-term tax benefits and estate planning needs of the individual couple or family. So for that type of plan, for trust planning, foundational planning, I would recommend getting yourself in touch with a very competent, well-established attorney to initiate the conversation about what would be more appropriate in your circumstance or situation.
Thank you. As we're wrapping up, what are 2 to 3 things our listeners should take from this conversation?
Number one is put together a team. There is no one estate planning attorney that should be handling all of these different things. The attorney's role is really to manage the legal process and the legal documents, but they should be working hand in hand with a CPA or a certified tax professional to assist in guiding the different tax advantage strategies that the plan as well as the investment structure or financial plan will put into place. Having a competent financial advisor or investment advisor along with an insurance licensed individual and all of those people working together to put together a comprehensive plan is really going to be the most important thing that I can recommend. Number two, do not rely on the cousin or the family friend that is an attorney or a financial advisor just because you know them. They may be a great resource for knowledge. They may end up being the person that you choose, but make sure you go through and interview the right group of professionals. Just one person that is outstanding is not going to solve your problems or create a good comprehensive plan. You need a group of professionals to do so. So don't just rely on the one first person that you think of out of the gate to start that planning process. And lastly, be conscious of updates. You want to make sure that you are active in your planning, and if you choose not to be active, make sure that your team is active in your planning. Have a financial advisor that is in communication with you on a consistent basis. Have an insurance agent that pays attention to the changing structures and dynamics of the insurance industry and the life policies and the annuities that you may choose to put into your plan. Have an attorney who pays attention to and is active in the different changes in law. Do not allow an attorney to just become static or stagnant because they are good at what they do. Make sure they're up to date on things. And tax law that changes on a very, very frequent basis, not just with changes in the political field, but changes with laws and different things, local, regional, state, and federal. having all of those people who are up to date and can communicate and respect the others' additions and subtractions from the plan is going to be very important for the long-term planning strategy of not only an individual or couples plan, but a family or a generational plan in the long term.
Todd, thank you very much for reaching out to help us and giving us this information. We greatly appreciate your time. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's great to be with you, and I appreciate the invite.
Thank you. Have a great day.
And you as well.